Good evening everyone and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. Well, tonight we're going to be looking back at a few interviews with some really great guests, and we're also going to be having our self-development clinic later on with Chris Brown. But the first video that I'd like to show you is of someone that came to speak about what to do with your unwanted gifts and a few other things as well. It's a great interview. Let's take a look at this.
Hello.
Good evening.
Yes.
Happy Boxing Day.
Happy Boxing Day.
Okay, so people are landed with all these gifts and I mean, it's nice that people buy things for us and everything, but what do you do with them? It's so oh God, especially if you're like a person that likes to declutter like I do.
Yeah.
I don't like having sort of clutter mess around me, so I just don't want extra things that I don't need. So what do you suggest?
Well, it's true. I mean, I'm exactly the same. I hate clutter and I'm always going sort of through house and getting rid of things. Well, I mean, you know, it's Boxing Day now, so it might be a little bit too late, but I mean, a good thing to do is always to sort of talk to friends and family and kind of say, well, maybe we should just leave it this year.
Well, completely.
Well, you can do. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily close family, but you must have friends who buy you things every year and you don't always remember that they're going to. I have a friend who does that. She's quite generous and she'll always spring something on me at the last minute. She likes to meet up and then I'll forget that she always buys something. So yeah, sometimes with those kinds of friends, especially now that times are tight, people don't have much money. It's just a waste of time.
It's probably like a big relief actually to hear that from someone, especially because you kind of feel like you need to buy gifts at Christmas.
Yeah.
And the thought of not having to buy anything is a pretty good one sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah,
so it does take the pressure off.
It does. It's something less to have to think about. And most of the time, a lot of the time, we're buying each other, like you say at the beginning, things that we don't really need, we don't want, and we're just wasting money. So, yeah, I mean, I have friends. It wasn't Christmas, but I have friends who were both getting married at the similar time, and well, we all know how much that costs. I got married last year, but they actually agreed amongst each other that they wouldn't buy each other wedding gifts.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it sounds really stingy, but
it sounds really stingy.
It's a really good idea.
But they were both going to each other's weddings and obviously spending a lot of money on the food and things as well. So that's one thing that you can do. But now it's Boxing Day, it's probably a bit late for that.
Yeah, a bit late. So obviously you can try and get a refund on gifts, right?
Yes. I mean, I think particularly you say clothing and accessories are major things. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, I've done it myself, for family, particularly for my mum. You think, oh yeah, I can't think of anything to get. I know what, I'll buy her an outfit. And then invariably, my mother lives in Ireland, so I'm not there to be able to sort of check a size and things like that. And also, you don't necessarily want to tell them what you're getting. And even if you do get the right size, the sizes vary, don't they, from shop to shop, and maybe someone's eating a little bit too much Christmas pudding or whatever, and the things don't fit, or they just don't like them, or they don't sit properly. So I think, if you're going to do that, always try and keep the receipt and give it to the person so that if they don't like it or, it doesn't fit.
What's the worst gift that you've had, Fab?
I've had one of the worst gifts. One of the worst gifts was from an ex-boyfriend, and
is that why he's your ex?
No, well, probably that was perhaps a sign of many other flaws in his personality. I don't know. No, I didn't know what they were. I opened this. I think it was for Christmas, and these two rocks, I suppose they were, and they had sort of bits of pink paint in the middle. Oh. And I had to ask them what they were, and they were bookends apparently. So I think it was some sort of crystal or something. I'm not quite sure what, but I kept them for quite a few years, and then I took them and gave them to a charity shop.
You could have used them in a pot plant or something.
I could have done, but they were a bit hideous, really.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, my one, I have to say, I had two really bad ones.
Really?
One was from my parents because they never allowed me and my sister to have a TV in our room because we used to share a room. So I was really wanted the TV, and I kept going on about it. And one Christmas, they got this big, massive box. TVs back then were quite big and chunky.
Oh yeah.
So a big, massive box, and I was like, and I couldn't wait for Christmas Day to open this box to see my TV. So I was all excited, me and my sister, so we took off the paper and we're like, finally getting a TV for our room. Do you know what it was? It was a whole set of encyclopedia. And I was like, because my dad was really into studying, and like we had to study and we had to get good grades and everything. I was so upset, but really, really upset. And I was like, oh my God, I was looking for these things. I'm not going to read these. And actually, they stayed there for years, even while we were through uni. We didn't even use them hardly.
No, but they were kind of television shapes, so you still thought it was a TV.
So cool. I mean, I'm sure they did it on purpose. Yeah, it was really heavy as well, obviously. And this other thing that my auntie got me, God, it was horrible. It was like an item of jewellery, and I couldn't actually work out what it was. It just looked kind of like a bell with stuff on it. And it was horrible. It was so old-fashioned, and in the end, I sold it. I got quite good money for it because it was really heavy. Well, those are my two worst gifts.
Oh dear.
Yeah, not very good.
No. Well, my mum's always said that the first thing my dad ever bought her was a manicure set, which I don't really see what the problem is, but apparently, she was offended because it said, well, I must have really horrible nails then. Yeah. That's what you're trying to say. So
you could get offended.
You could get offended, yeah.
So obviously you can sell your stuff on eBay.
You can, I mean, it's so easy now. I mean, obviously in the old days, you'd have to go to, I don't know, a second-hand shop or a boot sale, but you don't have to go out there and, brave the bad weather. You can go on eBay, Amazon. I mean, Amazon books are really easy to sell on there. There's all sorts of different websites out there. You just go and have a look. And the thing is as well, if you're worried that your relatives might find out, you can register on there with a funny nickname or something, and they're not going to know that it's you. Because this is always, you don't want to offend people. I mean, we've kept, sometimes like relatives maybe give you some hideous painting or sort of print of something.
Yeah, what do you do when you have to they expect it to be up on your wall? What do you do?
Hide, we always used to my mum always used to hide things in the cupboard and then bring them out, But I think now she's I think, you have to be sort of, sort of brave and just go, no, this is, especially things like that, because I think,
it's personal, isn't it?
It's such a personal thing, your decor in your home and things like that. So, no, I don't see why you have to have these things out. But yeah, you can sell things on eBay. I mean, you can, if you think no one will buy them, or you want to be, it's Christmas.
That bad.
it's that bad. You think no one's going to want to, or you don't want the hassle or whatever. There's plenty of people out there who are bound to want your, as people did want your hideous piece of jewellery, as you said. So something else could be, if you're feeling charitable, you could donate it to a charity shop. Or there's websites where you can, I think there's websites where you can swap presents online as well.
That's a good idea.
That's something else. I think particularly things like beauty products and things.
What about the regifting issue? Because that's quite controversial, isn't it? Because imagine well, you do tell us about regifting.
Well, regifting is, I love the phrase regifting. It's really sort of PC language, isn't it? A euphemism. Well, regifting is when someone gives you something and you think, oh my God, I hate this, or I've already got 10 of these. And then what you do is you maybe change the wrapping paper if you're sensible, wrap it up and you give it to somebody else. And obviously it's quite controversial because people think it's a disrespectful thing to do. People think it's mean because you've not gone out and bought and spent money and bought that thing. You just give it to somebody. But perfectly honest with you, I think there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's really a green thing to do. We're recycling, we're using something else again. And as long as you, keep a list of, if you've got lots of these things, keep a list of who gave it to you in the first place, so you don't commit the cardinal sin of giving it back to that person, which my grandmother did once.
Oh no!
My dad brought her something, I think it was my dad, and then she gave it back to him the following year. Yeah, she hadn't realised.
Oh, how embarrassing!
I don't think he said anything.
Oh,
she was quite old by that point.
But the thing is, the only issue I have with that is what if the person you actually give it to, the second person you give it to now, asks you for a receipt because they want to exchange it and you don't have one because it was given to you by...
Yeah, that's the tricky thing. Yeah, that's a good point actually. Yeah, so
I have to admit, I have regifted, but I haven't. I've actually told the person, look, I got this from. I didn't wrap it up or anything, but I put it in a nice bag and I said, look, someone gave me this, but it's not my size. I don't really like it. Would you like it? So I always admit that it's not something that I've bought myself, but I am giving it to someone. So. Well,
I think that's a good one. And then you're being open. You don't have to feel bad about it. You don't have to feel guilty. You don't have to worry about they're going to say to you, "Where's the receipt?" And you're being open. I mean, I've done that. My mum bought me a lovely one. Those gypsy tops were fashionable. She bought me one of those for my birthday, and it just really didn't suit me because I'm quite short-waisted, and it just made me look quite big. So I gave it to my neighbour, and she's sort of taller, and it just suited her. But I told my mum that's what I was going to do, and obviously explained it to her, and it was fine. So yeah, you've just got to do it. I did regift a scarf to a friend, and I have to admit, there was no way that she should have been able to tell, but I did sit there sort of quaking with fear while she was like feeling wrapped her, thinking, I hope she can't tell. Surely there's no way she can tell. And she was kind of going, yeah. I was thinking, oh no, maybe she can tell. But no,
she knows now if she's watching, right?
I know she probably does, yeah. Never mind.
So any other tips that you have for us about unwanted gifts?
Unwanted gifts. Yeah, well, I think as well, sort of planning for next year, obviously, you know, we've opened most of our presents now. I think it's a good idea in sort of advance of Christmas or birthdays and things like that, when you've got relatives and they're saying, no, I want to get something for you, tell them what you want. I mean, my father does this every year. My father's quite greedy and he loves his toys and things. He's got all these things that he likes. Yeah. But it's quite useful because he'll email me a list of different ideas. I don't have to get all of them. And he'll say, I'd like this or that. And he tells me where to get them from. And it just makes life easier because then I know I'm not going to buy him something that he hates and I'm wasting money.
You could actually do something like that online, couldn't you? You can post it on your Facebook page and just say, these are the kind of things, or have a little section somewhere. If you've got a website and these are like they do with on eBay and Amazon and stuff, they have like a wish list.
Yeah.
So you can do that with anything, really.
You could, yeah. It's much easier.
Okay, well, I hope we've helped our viewers.
I hope so.
They haven't got too many unwanted gifts piled up at home, but if you do, you can sell them, you can give them to charity, you can regift if you're brave enough and you're clever enough. What else were the other things I said? You can swap it, you can swap it. So there's quite a few options. So just don't sit on it because otherwise you're going to end up with loads and loads of clutter at home.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show. Always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. Now, as we all know, the kids are still at home on their Christmas holidays. So my next video that I'd like to show you is of someone that came to teach us about a few things that she does with her children to keep them occupied over the festive period. Let's take a look. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
So Harvey, you're how old?
10.
You're 10 years old, okay. And Thea, you've been on you were on quite recently on the show as well, talking about perfectionism, but now we're going to be talking about something different. Right. So tell us briefly what you do for those that missed the last show that you were on.
I'm a happiness coach and I mainly work with mums and help them be a calmer mum and also to kind of create happier family life at home.
Right, okay. So you've got some you're both going to tell us about some of the stuff that you guys like to do as a family. Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yep.
Yeah? Do you have an older brother, older sister?
They're both younger than me. We've got Jasmine, who's 8, and my little brother Zach, who's 5.
Okay, so you do a lot of family stuff together then?
Yeah.
All right, what's your favourite? We're going to get to you, Thea, so
that's fine.
What kind of stuff do you love doing with your family?
Well, I like cooking with Mum and Dad, and I also like going on bike rides and walks. And playing sport as well.
What do you like cooking?
Well, my favourite thing to cook with Mum and Dad is toad in the hole.
I don't know how to make that. Maybe you have to teach me one day. Okay, so it's nice. Is that you? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Is that you guys? I can't see
them.
Oh, okay, nice.
Cooking.
Oh, that's lovely. Okay, so Thea, obviously you've got the family together and you're obviously doing quite a few activities and stuff. So tell us about how you organise all of that and how you make time for that and some of the regular stuff that you do and advice that you can give to our viewers as well.
Okay. Well, it is quite difficult to organise kind of those kind of things as separate from all the day-to-day stuff. But in the holidays, obviously, now that the Christmas craziness has kind of gone, there's more time really to do those family bonding things. And I would say that one of the big things, especially with the children, my children, their ages, is to get the kids involved in deciding what to do. Yeah. So, we quite often have family meetings, so we sit down and go, right, okay, what do we want to do? And we come up with some suggestions. Not all of them are possible, because they might come up with some wacky ideas or
let's go mountain climbing or something.
Or let's go to Florida. And it's like, maybe not today. So get them involved. So they might, Chris and I, my husband Chris, might say, let's plan a day out, and they'll go, actually, we just want to go swimming today, or we just want a movie. we want to go sit down and have a family movie. So it's quite important that you're not dragging the kids out on this big day out when actually they just want to have a chill out day. But we do quite often have days out, don't we? We go to Chessington, or we go up to the London Eye, things like that, so kind of for bigger days out.
What kind of stuff can maybe families do that are on a bit of a tight budget? Because obviously Christmas is now over, it's like a lot of people don't have any money left.
Exactly.
Or very little, or they're in debt maybe. So, but obviously you want to still keep the family, you know, entertained and occupied over the Christmas period. What kind of cheapies?
I'd say if the weather's good, I'd get outside, really. Even when it's cold, if it's kind of blue sky,
I love going out.
You know, I mean, it's amazing. Even if it's just like an hour.
You're an outdoor person, I know.
Yeah. Even if it's only like an hour's walk outside, and then you come back, maybe you put a casserole in the oven, and then come back, and then you've got a nice dinner cooked, and it just feels.
Did you say put what on?
A casserole in the oven.
A cat in the oven. Cat in the oven.
My husband does that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, my husband likes making casseroles, and then so we can stick that in the oven, and then go for a walk, and then come back and do that. Or in the summer you can go for picnics and things, but you can't really do that so much in the winter.
Although my sister does that.
Really?
She'll go out on a cold freezing day with a big umbrella and she does a flask of soup, and she still has fun.
Yeah,
doing
exactly.
That.
I mean, I suppose you just have to be organised, and the kids actually like that, really. They love that kind of thing, really. And I'm trying to think of other things we can do in the winter.
Harvey, when
Parks.
you play,
Parks, they love the parks.
Yeah. Do you do board games and stuff? Do you play games?
Yeah.
Who normally wins?
Well, Dad.
Do you guys argue when you play board games?
No, not really.
That's the first.
I think they do, but
a little bit.
Yeah.
Only a little bit, yeah. Now, I know you guys have a favourite Friday night pastime, don't you? What's that?
Well, we have what we call a celebration. It all started a few years ago when my husband got a new job. And so when he came home on the Friday, we got some crisps and we all had a drink and we had a celebration. And we tend to do that. We now do it every Friday, mainly.
Lovely.
So and we just sit round.
So what do you celebrate every week?
Well, just because it's just been given that name because it started off as a celebration, and then we just call it that because, and we just talk about our week. We take it in turns, and they say. What they've enjoyed about their week, or what they're proud of, or what they're looking forward to. Or sometimes, though, obviously on a Friday night, it can if they're tired or something, or we sometimes just play a game of cards or something instead.
Yeah.
You know, it varies, but you know, it's just getting together on a Friday and just having a bit of a relax. Yeah. It's a weekend, and sometimes we plan the next day, don't we, and what we're going to do. Yeah.
What about chores? Do you make that fun? Or maybe you don't want to say this in front of I mean, tricking in with games and really it's chores.
No, I must admit, I'm probably not great at making chores fun. Sometimes we'll have a tidy up half an hour, we put some music on, wouldn't we, and do that.
But you know what, I think the fact that you're doing the other things together as a family, I think that it doesn't make the chores so bad because you've always got something to look forward to, because in some families, I'm sorry to say this, but some parents, they really like all about chores and they they hardly do anything with their kids, so the kids obviously feel upset to do chores because they don't have any fun hardly, or there's no time for fun.
Exactly.
But obviously everyone's busy about this. I mean, I think it's great that you guys are making so much time for each other. It's lovely.
We try to. Some of this kind of more not necessarily everyday chores, or maybe things like washing the car, or doing something in the garden. Those kind of chores you can make more fun because they're not the normal boring chores that, you know, like tidying their room. You know, they hate tidying their rooms, but they might want to go out with some water and some cloths and get wet and clean the car.
I used to clean the car with my sister.
So you can make that quite good fun.
Water fight.
Yeah, and maybe have a treat halfway through, like chocolate biscuits or something, or hot chocolate or something if it's cold.
I was going to talk about this thing with the balloons then.
The balloons. Was that for birthdays?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've only done that in the last year or so because I think
I've got a few of your things down here as well.
Yeah, I think it's. I heard a friend of mine say that they always did that when it's somebody's birthday. So we put balloons up outside the door, don't we?
Yeah.
And whoever's birthday it is chooses the menu, and we always open presents on mine and Dad's bed. Don't we? And so it's kind of like we've got the traditions that you do and that really brings a family together, I think.
How do you manage having like 3 kids? Because it must be quite difficult for that one-to-one time with each child. Or do you just do things all of you together, or do you make time for each individual child?
Yeah, we do. We have realised recently, the last year or two, that it is really important to have one-to-one time with the children, because when there's 3 of them always all vying for attention, sometimes it works wonderfully, but quite often it's, you know, it's a bit crazy. So this last year we have we've done this thing where we have a weekend. One adult, one of us has a weekend with the one child. So so basically there's been 6 weekends. So so we went up to London and we stayed with Chris's sister. So we just went up, just Harvey and I. And so we had a really good day. Went to the Natural History Museum, and then we went to Michelle and Doug's house. And so basically we had that one-to-one time. It's just like going out and, you know, just because the dynamic changes so much when there's only one and one. And even the people staying behind, one parent with 2 children is a big. It's still a huge difference to what it normally is, and those things are really valuable, really. And you can try and squeeze them in. Say, like, you know, if we need to go to the supermarket, just take 1 kid with you, you know, and then, or if you're doing a job in the garden, you'd use 1, or you know, you can fit it in, and I think it's really, really important so that the children really get that quality time.
What about families that, you know, because maybe there are families watching now, they're saying this sounds so lovely, it sounds ideal, but I haven't sort of had that closeness with my family. We've been kind of separated, but now I'd like to bond with my family. What do you think, what kind of stuff could they do, or what do you suggest that can really bring a family together if they haven't had that sort of time together recently?
I think kind of start with little things and not expect too much. Really, I think as mums, we tend to put so much pressure on ourselves to make it all perfect and smooth and everything's going to go well. Expect it to go up and down, but just maybe, you know, just say, right, tonight we're just going to have a movie, we're going to sit together, cuddle on the sofa, have a movie, maybe make some popcorn or get some sweets or something like that. So just small little things, and then, you know, let's go to the park and get involved with them, and, you know, because I think it's very tempting to kind of go to the park, get your kids to go off, and then you sit there and play on your phone, or, you know, they watch a movie and you're cooking dinner in the other room. Kind of make time to have that, you know, to actually be with them, you know, read books, that kind of thing. But it's not going to be perfect. It's not, you know, and sometimes I plan things, you know, and I pick them up from school and everyone's in a bad mood, and then it all goes wrong, and I'm like, I'm not doing that then. So you know, so it's
That's
difficult.
nice that you shared that.
Yeah,
because, you know,
honestly, but half the time,
human. She is. There you go.
Half the time, most of the time, it goes wrong. There's many times when I think, oh, we'll do this.
But it doesn't stop you from trying, which is really great, because obviously, you know, we've obviously got a great family, so that's really, really good.
Yeah,
I'm
but
really happy.
we're not always happy, are we? We can have our shout. You know, we can all shout and argue, and the thing is that we keep trying, we keep kind of learning, and, you know, we keep saying that, you know, it's okay to make mistakes. You know?
Definitely.
You just got to keep
Guys,
going.
thank you so much. You've given some great advice. Harvey, you did great. Give me 5.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. Now, there are already sales everywhere, and it's very tempting to buy lots of things, sometimes things that you don't even need. So this next video that we're going to show you is of a guest that gave some great advice on how to resist temptation and only buy the things you really need. After that, we'll go to a break, but do stay tuned after the break too, because we will be having our self-development clinic with Chris Brown.
Hi. Happy Boxing Day.
You're right.
I'm good, thank you.
So, how can we shop I mean, can you really shop sensibly in the sales?
You can, but it can be difficult. See, now, I mean, I found a great quote from Marc Jacobs, and he says, "Fashion isn't a necessity. It pulls at your heart. It's a whim. You don't need it. You want it." And that's so true.
Yeah.
But hey, we need it, so it's still necessary. But
no, we want it, we don't need it.
No.
Come on, all right.
We'll tweak it.
Okay.
But a lot of people, the minute that they see like 50% off, everyone goes, oh my gosh, I need it. And it's like, do you actually need it? Or do you just want it because it's speaking to you, as in because it's like, it's red, it's saying it's like 50% off, it was £50 and now it's 25. Did you really like it at £50? Did you really want it at £50? So it's just a few things for people to kind of keep in mind, because obviously Boxing Day and the days after, that's when people now, it's the shopping time of the year. So it's the time when everyone thinks, right, I'm going to work off my turkey around the shops and go out there and go and buy stuff. But it's about doing it properly so that you don't get stuck with it. Because, I mean, like you were talking about earlier in the programme, unwanted gifts and stuff like that. Why are you going to add to that clutter that you were talking about before by just buying something because it's half off or 60% off? Do you need it? So there's a few things for people to keep in mind before they go out and hit the shops. So I've got, I think it's like 7 tips for everybody.
Okay, cool.
So if we start with the first one, which should be up on the screen. Before you start, look in your wardrobe and make a list.
Oh, Lisa, who does that?
It's about, rather than, for example, if you go shopping and you're thinking, I want jeans, for example.
Yeah.
How many jeans do you actually have? Do you have the, so for example, if you're a person that you've got a pair of black jeans, skinny jeans, you've got a pair of dark denim skinny jeans. So maybe because normally I usually have like about 2 black pairs and maybe like about 2 dark and then a light coloured one. So what's the one that you need more than anything? Is it that you want a light coloured pair? Do you need a grey pair? Do you want a coloured pair to add to your wardrobe? But again, are you going to wear that coloured pair?
So you kind of go out already knowing what you want then?
Yeah, so if you're already thinking about it, so if you go into the shop, because I know, for example, like Dorothy Perkins, for example, they will, all of their fashion jeans, they're the ones that will normally go onto sale. So it's the basic ones that are usually the black, the greys, they're usually more often than not full price, but it'll be those coloured ones. But the thing is, are you really going to wear a pair of pink skinny jeans? Have you worn them before? Just because they're now £10 instead of 20, are you going to wear them, or is it going to add to the clutter? Next tip would be, if it's on there, yes, you may want it, just like I was saying, but will you wear it? Just like I was saying, because again, people, when I go out there, because I do like to go on either Boxing Day or going for a couple of days after, I like to go to like Lakeside. I prefer that because everyone else goes to Westfield, so it's much easier.
Don't tell everyone. Everyone's going to be going to Lakeside.
It's all right,
now.
no, go to Westfield, So it's like, I think in my mind, I know the shops that I like to go to, and especially on Boxing Days or big sale days, they close fitting rooms, you know, all these kind of things. So clothes that you don't wear, like, you know, say you're a newbie to Zara, for example. Some of their things come up a bit tighter than others.
Yeah,
they're cut a bit smaller. And sometimes because they go with like a small, a medium or a large rather than a 12, 14 or a 16. So think about it. If you can see that actually it's not going to be for you, you know, it even looks small as you've got it on, don't bother picking it up.
Right, you can regift it, maybe? Right, we won't go there.
Be careful with regifting. Okay, next one. Tip number 3 is relish the discount, but never overlook the price. Because anything like anything north of a 40% discount, usually people think, oh my gosh, that's what they see. It was, you know, it was £50. Now it's like 15. Oh my gosh, I need it. But like I said before, if it was still full price, would you still buy it? Now I know there's so many things I wait for it to go on sale, because and you know that it's going to. So it could be, you know, that fabulous coat that you've seen and it was £60. Come the sale, they're going to knock it down so much because they know it's dead stock, and they're already starting to think about the spring summer things that they need to start bringing in. I know that it's just Christmas and I know it's early, but trust me, the shops are already thinking about it. So invest in pieces like that, because that as a sale discount off, you know that come January, February, it's still going to be cold. Hey, we live in the UK. So it's going to be cold. Let's invest in those things you know you're going to actually use. Boots, coats, jeans, jumpers, things like that you're still going to use. So when they're like 40% off, go for them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, think, would I like it, as I said before, when it was full price? So our next,
very good point.
Number 4 is don't be distracted. And this is the hardest thing, because I know like when I was in Lakeside last year, it's like I quite like River Island, and I like to go in especially at the sale time because they do some really, really good discounts, and the queue for it can be absolutely crazy. But because you can see all these things, and they put like they put extra tags on their clothes so that everyone can see and highlight the sale price and all of that. Don't be distracted by it. Do you actually want it? Are you going to wear it? And don't be distracted, because another thing that people tend to do is when they see other people going to one place, everyone starts thinking, oh my gosh, what's there? There's a queue there. I want that, I need that. And actually, you would never have bothered to buy that before, but just because you see everyone else is like throwing it this way, throwing it that way, and you're thinking that I actually want it. Do you really? Or were you just distracted because other people, the kind of hype and the hysteria?
Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it, where people end up behaving?
It does, but you see it, because I mean, I used to work in retail, so this is an example. So I was actually a manager when Primark Oxford Street opened for the first time in Marble Arch, and that was absolutely manic. I actually saw people punching somebody else for a coat, because there was a coat that Primark had at the time that everyone wanted. And I remember helping to like restock, because again, it was just a crazy day. So if you were a manager, you remember stuff, you helped everywhere. So I had like armfuls of this coat from the stockroom, and I literally had to shout at people, leave me alone, because they were tearing it out of my hand. So people, and the thing is, most of those people, they might have worn it for 2 seconds and then decided, actually, I didn't really want it, because they just got distracted by all the hysteria surrounding it. So again, a tip, when you're going out there for the sale shopping, think about what you actually want. Don't be distracted because someone else likes it.
These are excellent tips.
Seriously.
Really good.
Our next one is to shop around. Now, this is fabulous that we are in the era of the smartphone, because wherever you are, you can log on there and actually see, was it worth it? Or can I buy it online or in another shop for cheaper? This obviously applies a lot more to electrical goods, things like that, because
although people do panic, don't they? They think they just have to go out and get something before it goes.
This is the thing. And I remember that even just before I went on holiday, I had lost my my camera charger. So I went to Tottenham Court Road, because they have a lot of electrical shops down there. And I remember I went in one shop, and the person told me the camera charger was going to be £25. And I was thinking, I checked on my phone, and I was like, I even showed him, look, this is the price I'm getting online. Obviously, because I was flying out tomorrow, it was too late for me to do anything. So I said, fine, no, I don't want it. I went in another shop down the road. They gave it to me for 15. Right. So it's always worth and that was just a minor thing, like a charger. Imagine what it is if you want the next Mac Mini, or you want something. Different places will do different things. So don't just be sucked in by the first offer. Go out there, check it out, because quite often online shopping can be just as lucrative as sale shopping in the stores. So shop around and always check it. And because everyone's got a smartphone these days, haven't you? And everyone, and even if you think, oh, I don't have enough like Wi-Fi minutes or gigabytes or whatever, most places have a free Wi-Fi.
Just stand outside
Just
somewhere.
go Starbucks, find Starbucks. Just go stand outside there. It's perfect, it's fine. Our next tip,
hide in the toilets,
is don't be rushed. Again, people get into it, oh my gosh, I've got to have it now, and they walk around, they've got all these things in their arms, and they're just grabbing it. Then by the time you get to the till, it's a massive amount of money. And then when you get home, you think, I'm not going to wear that. Why did I even buy it? Why did I get sucked in? Or I don't need it because I've already got 5 other things that are similar. So don't be rushed into it. Chill, have a look. And again, shop around. It goes back to what I was saying before, because again, you snap it up, and quite a lot of places, they do like no refunds. It might be they might offer an exchange on some things that are in the sale. So then you're tied to that shop for that thing, whereas another shop might have it for cheaper. So don't be rushed. Go back to the other tip, shop around and make sure it's something that you actually really, really want and need. And number 7, and this is one of the most important and sometimes one of the hardest things to stick to, stay within your budget, because desire, even as
most people will go out without a budget. That's the problem. So they need to set one before they go out.
Because what's the point in again having all of this and you have no food? You can't actually eat. It's not worth getting into debt over. And this is what I try to do, is that I will try and give myself a budget, something to stick to, so that I know, and it makes me question myself. Like I said, that if I'm going, do I actually need it? Because if I've got, as I said, 2 pairs of black skinny jeans at home, this one may be 60% off, but do I really need another one? So
Exactly.
stick to these tips, have a look, and you will have a really, really good sale shopping.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the show, and we are now in the Self-Development Clinic with Chris Brown. Hello, Chris. How are you?
Hi, Chrissy. I'm very well, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Great.
Do you like what
great.
we were talking about before?
I thought it was brilliant. You know, the idea of, let's say, unwanted gifts and that sort of area.
Yeah.
Now, let's think about the work side as well. Gratitude is what I want to talk about. Having a mindset of gratitude. You know, when sometimes when you first join a workplace and it's a new environment and you're excited about your career and all these sort of areas and all that. And then after a little while, you're doing a thing like you get your new cards and you're looking at your new cards and you're smelling your new cards and everything like that, okay? And then you're pretty excited about it. But then after a while, you forget about it.
Yeah.
And time goes on, you got used to the job role, you're used to what you're doing, you get a bit bored and you find little things coming like little complaints about things that you didn't used to complain about before. And, you know, little attitudes come in and different staff coming in and all that sort of thing. It's time to stop that. If you're in that place right now, it's time to stop that and change the mindset. A mindset of gratitude. And a mindset of gratitude, we're not only talking about work, we're talking about generally in life as well, because sometimes we take things for granted that we forget and we become complainers instead. We complain about the things you would never mention before. Yeah. So this is particularly about changing that mindset. Now, if you've got that let's say that mind of gratitude, no matter what you're doing, you're going to appreciate a lot more. And you're going to find you're going to be appreciated a lot more as well. So when you think back to it, you've got to go back into your mind about a place where you were grateful for it. You know, when you didn't have the job.
Especially, yeah, exactly. Especially for those people that maybe they're not working at the moment.
Yeah.
They don't have a job. You know, it's Christmas period now, and like they don't have a job to go to, and they would kill to have a job right now. Maybe thinking, oh, you know, when they hear this other person complaining about, oh, because I don't know, the air conditioning is too cold or something like that.
Right.
It's like, why are you complaining when you've got a job? That's how some people are feeling right now.
Exactly.
And it's true. We do have to appreciate what we have. At the same time, like I always say on the show, obviously, if what you have you're not happy with, or you know, there are problems that you're going through, obviously, please do try, you know, better your life. We're all about that, improving your life, developing all of that stuff. But if it's stuff that's actually good, but you're finding the negatives in everything, you're going to be miserable, and to be honest, you're going to be really difficult to deal with and to be around as well.
Yeah, very much so. And to move from that place as well, we've got to look at things like, well, what have I to be grateful for? You know, what have I to be grateful for? Look at the workplace you're in now, like you said, environment. Think about this. When they first chose you, they chose you for a reason. Right? And whatever it is must have been very good, because they trust you with that role and thought, we can invest in this individual, right? You came on there, you were happy about it, you were chosen, but think about the quality or the skill, what contribution you're making to that company. That should in itself build your confidence and get you back to that point of centering yourself, anchoring yourself, and realize, you know what, I'm actually good.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that, in saying that to yourself. I'm actually good, and maybe I've got a lot more to give than I actually think I have in that sense. So sometimes we have to go back and think about the little things first before we realise and stop complaining about the things in the way, you know. And funny enough, that good feeling should actually dispel those things that you're complaining about, you know, overall. So it is a matter of gratitude, seeing where were you before, what have I got to be grateful for. Imagine this, what about, as you just mentioned, you're unemployed. What was it like when you were unemployed? What is it like now? You know, all right, you might be complaining, I'm not earning enough. I'm not earning enough. Was you earning enough before? I'm not saying you have to stay at that level. Obviously, you're going to have to ask for that raise, but it's the way you do it. You know, is it moaning about it, or is it, look, this is my situation. I need to move from here. I need to hit this level at the end of the day. So let's think about our mindset in being grateful. Now, we are talking about work. But let's think about generally in life every day. You know, the things we're moaning about all the time doesn't really need that. You know, when you think, and the real thing about it, behind it, is we moan about it, but does that change the situation? No, it's still the same at the end of the day. You just get more and more depressed. So let's move on from there and have a bit of gratitude. Something else I actually wanted to go into as well. When you've got that place of gratitude and you're in the workplace and you've probably hit a certain level, you're going to get, as they say, the newbies, the new ones coming in, right? And sometimes people mess up and they do things that seem like, well, that's a bit silly or whatnot. But you were there once as well.
Exactly.
You know, you've got to remember that, you know, and you can nurture someone and help them grow from your experience instead of shouting them, trying to correct them in a very aggressive way, forgetting that you went through that path as well. Reflect back. So when you go back in New Year and you've got that newbie there, think about yourself when you were there.
Yeah, and to be patient.
Yeah, be patient with people.
Be patient, try and teach them. Don't lord it over them like some people do, because they think, oh, because I've been in this job for ages, and now it's like you don't want to invest that time to help someone else. But those same people, who knows, tomorrow you could be the manager of the place. Those are the people that will be working for you or with you afterwards. They'll be your team members. So it's like they will remember how, if you help them, how you helped them when they first started and how patient you were with them. And it might feel, oh, it's a waste of time, I haven't got time for this. But if you invest in the people around you, they'll remember that, and they'll help you out in the end.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. I can think back in past places I've worked, the people were very helpful and patient, and you can actually remember the ones who weren't, you know, at the end of the day. Not to say you've got a grudge against them, you hate them or anything like that, but it's a matter of you realise, well, look, you know, maybe if there were more of the other people, you'd have progressed a lot further, a lot quicker in that sort of way, you know. So just you said, we do remember them, you know, like elephants, you know, remember them for years after at the end of the day. So, you know, be a bit more generous to those as well when you go back out there. Start again. You've got a chance to start again. Remember where you came from. Start moving on. Be generous. Yeah. Have a spirit of gratitude.
Good.
And go for it.
Okay. Anything else?
No, that's mainly
it. Oh, that's it. Okay. So I would like to talk about something, because there was something that you were speaking about before. Concerning sort of the way you look at things and like the things that you can't change. What's the point of complaining about it?
Right.
Obviously, there are lots of things that we can change. First of all, if it is like, for example, your working environment or where you work, or maybe wants to start a business, these are all things that you can change. But there's other things that we really can't change. For example, other people.
Right.
Everyone's heard, oh, you can't change anyone else but yourself, and it's so true. So in that respect, if, for example, you're in like a work situation, there is like someone difficult that you're working with, or maybe it's even a boss. Sometimes it's not that you have to change yourself necessarily, but you can maybe change the way that you deal with that person.
Most definitely.
And learn how to, for example, you know what triggers them off, so you're not going to behave or say certain things that will trigger them off. Sometimes it's just a bit of damage control, isn't it?
Yeah, very much so.
So you can't really change the people. And even in relationships as well, that is true. All you can work on is yourself. Obviously, you have that dialogue where you will sit down and speak to the person, but at the end of the day, it's their decision whether they change or not. But by you being patient and by you sort of trying avoiding certain triggers, will actually say to them, you know, hang on a minute, this person, or he or she's really trying, I'm going to do something as well.
Yeah.
So by complaining, by moaning, by nagging, it doesn't help anything.
It doesn't help at all. And the whole idea, like you said, the things you can't change. What I normally do in a workshop is we do this on a sheet where you've got one circle in the middle, a bigger circle on the outside. It's called a circle of influence. And what you do is the things that you cannot change is on the outer circle.
Yeah.
The things that you can change is on the inner circle. If you write them down, you realize that there's no point in worrying and fretting about the things on the outer circle which you cannot change, right? So focus on the things that you can change on the inside instead. And that spreads throughout relationships, with people. Just as you said, you've got to change yourself first. And that's the way they react to you. It's a mirror. At the end of the day, it reflects, you know, and people reflect the way you treat them at the end of the day.
Even the weather, Chris, because sometimes, let's face it, people really in this country really complain about the weather. It's cold, it's wet. And to be honest, I was one of those people. I used to just love, you know, sunny places and everything like that. But then one day I thought to myself, you know what? I'm in England, it rains a lot, it gets cold. And I learnt to love the weather here. Really? Even that, honestly, I do, because no matter what the weather is, I don't care. I will still go out and I will still maybe want to go for a walk. Even if it's raining, I would like to go.
That's really good.
I like to go, for example, to a park cafe, and just the rain even looks nice. So sometimes, though, you can't change the weather, for example. I know it's a trivial like example, but
I think it's a great example.
Sometimes there are things that you can love about it. You can love, for example, when it's freezing cold, I love to sort of put on certain clothes and snuggle up and like in like, for example, a nice coat that I have and go out for a walk, even though it's cold, but it's nice. You just have to learn to love certain things because there's things that you can't change. Who can change the weather? You can change where you live. You can go abroad to a sunnier climate, but why not learn to love the things that are around you that you can't change? And I love splashing around in the rain and putting the brolly up and hearing the rain on the brolly. It's nice.
Oh, that's brilliant. You know, it's funny you said that because my brother-in-law always has this saying that there's no such thing as bad or poor weather, but there's such thing as poor clothing. So it's the clothing that you choose, you put on. And it makes me think about it, just what you said. So, you know, for this period, we'll go out in a wrap up really warm and go and jump around in the snow and rain, okay?
Well, the weather is cold right now, but I'm sure hopefully this has helped a few people. Well, we have reached the end of the show today, so do join us again. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Thank you, Chris, for being on.
Pleasure, thank you.
And I'll see you again next time. But don't forget, if you'd like to email me, I promise to answer all emails personally. My email address is chris@chrissybshow.tv. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye for now.